Welcome, everyone, to episode number 529 of the world's most dangerous podcast. We are the Riverfront's Red Show, and we're coming at you live post-game from opening day. Gentlemen, it has finally happened. It has arrived. The what should be a national holiday, what should absolutely be a local Cincinnati holiday. Opening day is, I was going to say it's ended, but that is not true. I'm not at the banks, but I imagine if I were anywhere in or around the banks in downtown Cincinnati, the festivities would only be beginning. Your Cincinnati Reds beat somebody's Washington Nationals 8-2, and we're feeling good. We're going vibes only on this podcast. No show notes, feelings only, no facts. I'm with Chad Dotson. I'm with Bill Lack. Gentlemen, how are we feeling? Chad, let's start with you.
You know, if you had to script the way to start the season, I'm not sure I would have had the multi-homer game from the person that got the multi-homer game. We'll talk about it in a moment, but I'm not sure that would have been in my script. That might have been too far-fetched for Hollywood, but honestly, you could not script a better way to start the season. We saw a lot of the things that excited us last year. You know, we had an Ellie De La Cruz, had a double steal, actually. We had the running Reds, we had some power. We had a really impressive starting pitching performance. We had a Cincinnati local with an incredible debut in a Reds uniform. I'm telling you, it's about to become a fan podcast just about Brent Suter.
He was fired up, man. He was so fired up. I loved it. Pump it into my veins.
I'm telling you. So again, there are reasons to be whatever, this team, the injuries, there's some negative vibes in recent weeks, man, none of that today. It was just absolutely everything you could have asked for. So
I love it.
I'm all in.
The juju, the bad juju hit this team hard over the last couple weeks. And it was so encouraging listening to all the players, all the interviews, everything they got put out. Anytime a Cincinnati Reds player got in front of a camera, he was like, it stinks. We understand that, but we don't care. We're coming for you. We're here to play. We're going to surprise everybody. Let's go. It's hard for a fan to see that and understand and acknowledge it. But these players are competitive people. They're professional athletes. And they showed up on day one and said, we don't care about your projections. We don't care how you feel about how the season is going to go. We're going to go out there and play some baseball. It was so much fun. Bill, you've been a part of a lot of opening days. How was it today?
I've been to a number of opening days. I was not there today. I was in the local Tappy full bar. Had a great time. Good crowd. You can't win every game if you don't win the first one. So I'm thinking 162-0.
Speaking, baby. Speaking. That might be some better record.
The other thing was in the place the bar I was in, they had the Reds on a number of TVs, and they also had the Cardinals and the Dodgers. And I didn't look at the final, but the last I saw, the Cardinals were getting their ass beat, so that's always a good day.
Listen, if you think a Reds win on opening day is good, you just
Reds winning the Cardinals loss.
You compliment that with the Cardinals losing 7-1. Yeah. You've got the makings of something special.
And as Chad said, you couldn't have written the script any better. Frankie Montas today was amazing. Just what a great game for this guy. And coming off basically not pitching last year. And, taking this flyer contract with the Reds, a prove it contract, what is it, $16 million, I think, which is a hell of a prove it contract. I got to prove something. I'm making $16 million. But, 6 innings, 4 hits, didn't walk a batter, 4 strikeouts. I'll take that every day, rest of the year. I'm fine with that.
Listen, there are a lot of people that were pretty confused when he was named the opening day starter. We all just sort of assumed that it was Hunter Green's.
Can I go on to a 30-second diatribe here about a couple of things?
Already? We just started. You already want to go into a diatribe?
A couple of things. One is the Hunter Green Montas thing. I think that's going to benefit Green. I think that puts a chip on his shoulder. Oh, so I'm not the best pitcher on this staff? Okay, let me show you. Okay? So, and it also takes the pressure off Green being the opening day starter. There's a lot of pressure going out there that first day with a full house. So that's point number one. I had three things I wanted to, and two of these I was going to do. The second one was I think was it last week you had Steve Offenbaker on?
Yes.
Steve said some very kind things about me. Some of them were even true. and Steve, the check's in the mail. Thank you very much. But the other thing Steve said is something that you guys didn't have the guts to talk about, especially you, Nate. You made excuses for Marte's suspension. Oh, he's young and blah blah blah. He was selfish. He didn't get roofied for this thing. He stuck a needle in himself, and rather than he's.
I thought we were good vibes only today.
Yeah, we're talking about opening day and Bills are railing against Noel Marte.
We don't let me get this out
for 80 games.
Okay. If you guys had had me on last week, I could have got this out of my system.
This is why we don't have live shows.
Anyway,
oh man.
All right, Bill, go.
The only thing I agree with, he's 22 years old. I will not hold this against him once this season's over. Now, if we're in the playoffs and he can't play, I'm still going to be pissed at him because it was selfish.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think you're exactly right about that. You had a third point you said you want to make. Can that wait till later in the show, or you want to go ahead and shoot your shot?
That was my third one. My second one was Steve being nice, talking nice about me, and it was very kind of him to do.
All right, Bill, you can log off now if you want. That's
okay. I'm out,
Joey. Bill is on fire.
Right. Let me circle back. Can I, Nate? Can I circle back to Frankie Montas?
Yes.
Bill's right. Just incredible today. And here's what I came away with.
He's going to win 30. He's going to win 30.
He's clearly going to win 30. I hadn't thought about the way that it sort of plays into Hunter Green thing. I thought it was strange that Hunter Green didn't get that start. Hunter Green was not happy with it, reportedly. If you follow his Instagram account. But I hadn't thought about the point that maybe it motivates him. And then maybe the fact that this happened today, that Montas pitched so well, maybe that's further motivation, right? So I won't discount any of that. I think that's probably an interesting
and we'll never know.
Way to look at it. Yeah, right. We won't. But Montas, I think everyone thought this was a relatively good signing. No one thought that it was like a big time, needle mover is what we call it here on the show often. And I don't think that it was necessarily. We'll see. Injuries, really good before the injury, but we'll see. But what I saw today, and I'd seen him pitch, I don't know, maybe a couple times in his career, not often. But what I saw was, it kind of reminded me of Tom Browning, if this makes sense. This is a strange comp, but it occurred to me today because there's something I've always heard. I was never a pitcher, and I could never hit pitching, so I don't really need to opine much on pitching. But there's three rules that I always heard. If you want to be an effective pitcher, that's what you have to do. You have to throw strikes, you have to change speeds,
and work fast,
and you have to work fast. Mm-hmm. And Montas did all of those today. I mean, really, just an impressive performance, an effective performance, and I'm excited to see what he can be.
The other thing is, I want to add to what Chad said is, let's say Montas has a Danny Jackson kind of year, because 18-5 or whatever. Nobody will be able to say at the signing they said that moved the needle. It will have ended up moving the needle, but you can't, in retrospect, say that signing moved the needle. It either did at the time or not. Even if he's phenomenal, and I hope he is. Good God, I mean, he gives me 5 more starts like this year, I'll be thrilled to death.
I got a couple things I want to throw out there real quick. One, yours truly did an emergency podcast when Frankie Montas was signed.
So it moved your needle.
Mover.
There we go. I got to figure out how to do my finger here.
My guy Frankie Montas put a little lead. Put a little lead in the pencil. We were happy about Frankie Montas in this household. Second off, I think it came out the other day that he actually said he prefers it, or the actual pronunciation is Moontas. So,
really?
I am going to mess that up all season long, but I will try. Don't judge me. Stay out of the comments. JK, fire up the comments. We love the comments.
We don't care.
A couple things on Frankie Montas. So you said 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no walks, no earned runs, and 4 strikeouts. A couple of things that I saw on Twitter here. Frankie Montas is the first Reds pitcher to throw 6 scoreless innings on opening day since. Anybody?
Not Charlie.
Lee May.
A little more recent than that.
Johnny Cueto.
Johnny Cueto in 2015.
Okay.
Frankie
Hey,
Montas.
what number?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going. What number did Montas wear today?
I don't know.
Does anybody know that?
I drank too many high noons.
Somebody in the comments tell us. I was,
I'll tell you.
All the way back to Frank Pastore.
Oh dear Lord! I'll tell you, he wore number 47. What number did Johnny Cueto wear? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
So he's reacquired the skill level of Johnny Cueto. Next thing you know, he'll be doing the Luis Tiant.
I hope so.
So Bill, you mentioned Frank Pastore. Frankie Montas, the first opening day starter for the Reds since 1980 to pitch at least 6 innings, not allow a run, walk, or extra base hit since Frank Pastore, 1980, when he blanked the Atlanta Braves.
And if I remember right, Pastore was like a last-minute starter or something. I mean, I don't remember that for sure, but it seemed like he was like a throw-in at the last minute. That wasn't, but I may be wrong on that. I'm not sure. I have been wrong on the rare occasions. And only when Chad was also wrong.
One more. Yeah, right. I've never been wrong. One more. Pat Maguch's debuted. Thank you. Pat Maguch is here. The legend.
This day
one other thing.
Any better.
Frankie Montas or Moontoss or Mountain Toss or whatever, Mountain Dew, whatever his name is.
Mr. Frankie.
Yeah. First Reds opening day starter named Frank since Frank Pastore.
Listen, this is the cutting edge content you get from the Riverfront. My goodness.
Aren't you glad you're paying for this?
Yeah, it's worth every dime you're paying for it, right?
Oh my God.
It's worth every dime you're paying. Yeah, there you go.
So
and, really, I mean, Pagan only threw one bad pitch.
Yeah, but I want to talk about Pagan later. I don't want to. I want to say with good vibes if we can.
Yeah, we will get to that in a minute.
Okay, can I talk about the guy that impressed me the most offensively that day though, and it wasn't the guy that you would think.
Bill, I don't think I can stop you from expressing any opinion you feel like opining on. So please
go, Bill, go.
I am a quiet, shy, introverted kind of guy.
Yeah, right.
I thought Steer today
showed
again why he is the Reds' best hitter. He's just steady. He's just always there. He never looks bad. Even when he doesn't get a hit, he never looks bad. And today he was on every ball that he hit. I mean, it seemed like every ball he hit was hard. I'm just a big Steer fan. I really am. I think I said it last year. He's their Swiss Army knife. I mean, he can do anything they need him to do. He may never make an all-star team and still be a great player.
2 for 3 with a double, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Go ahead, Nate.
We talk about it here all the time. He seems so advanced at the plate for someone with the amount of major league experience that he has. The 2 hits he had, opposite field. He went with it. Didn't try to do anything other than what the pitchers gave him. Spencer Steer, somehow a dump truck of a booty he's got, even bigger this year. Even bigger. My guy's been doing squats in the gym, hip thrust. I mean, Spencer Steer is Reds fans fell in love with him last year. But I think that there's a scenario where he kind of got overshadowed a little bit by Matt McClain and what he did coming up. Ellie's obvious incredible burst onto the scene before, having to make some adjustments. Spencer Steer is going to be a steady presence in this Reds lineup for as long as they've got him under contract.
Yeah, but
see that guy penciled. I mean, we bet in the 7-hole today. I was like, what are we doing? Why is Spencer Steer in the 7-hole? This doesn't make sense to me. But then you see him, you have a guy like him in the lower third of your lineup. It's almost unfair to the opposing pitcher.
Yeah, but I don't like him in the bottom of the lineup.
I don't either. I prefer him higher, but we're not again, good vibes only. We're not going to
Agreed.
Too much for the lineup, but I think what Bill just said was interesting. He may never make an all-star team, and he may not. I mean, he might, but he's very likely to be a solidly above average hitter for a long time. I think he's the heart of the team in some ways. We talk a lot about India wanting to be the captain. I think we talk about, Ellie De La Cruz is the potential superstar. We talk about Matt McClain, rest in peace, as being maybe the best player on the team. But Spencer Steer really may be the heart of this team. He's like, you're going to be able to count on him. He's going to be there every day. And I can't think of who to compare him to. I've been trying to think. But he's a guy that's going to show up every day. Mm-hmm. He's going to hit. He's going to play wherever you need him to play in the field. I don't know. I think he may not be the best player on this team. He may never be the best player on this team. He may be the most important and most valuable player on this team.
I agree. The only comp that he's a Pete Rose comp to me. You can move him anywhere. In some ways. You can move him anywhere, and he'll play, and he'll be above average. He's a good hitter.
I hope he picks and chooses similarities.
Yeah, let's stick with the positive.
I'm talking about on the ball field.
Yeah, well, he plays a bunch of different positions. He'll move wherever you need him to move,
and works hard to be good or better at all of them. Doesn't care where you play him. Doesn't seem to care. He seems like a guy that all he cares about is contributing and winning. And I mean, you don't even see him in interviews much. He's not one of the guys that's always in front of the cameras. So you don't really get I don't feel like the fans have really gotten to know this guy.
No, I agree. Well, he's been overshadowed.
Yeah.
I think they're about to. I think he's about to burst on this team in a big way. Obviously, we are dealing with some opening day vibes here, and I'm not going to do anything to damper those. Spencer Steer is probably going to bat 667 this season.
At least. Yeah, at least.
Write it down. But this is a good opportunity to talk about the next big offensive impact today. The 7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Reds today. Spencer Steer, Nick Martini, Tyler Stevenson. They combined to go 5 for 11 with a double, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. No, sorry, 4 runs and 8 RBIs. And
if you had Ellie into that, that's another hit. And
I even with these injuries, which makes it extra frustrating that some of these guys are missing. And hopefully we get some decent news on the Friedel front and some not terribly devastating news on the Matt McClain front.
The Friedel front.
The Friedel front. That's going to be we'll figure out a way to incorporate that in later. Hold on, we're going to add one more guy to the panel here because we got our guy, Seth Shaner, host of the Red Leg Roundtable, best friend of Pokey Reese, on his car because he's driving back from opening day, his 27th, made the Jumbotron. Seth, what were the vibes like at Great American Ballpark today?
Well, the big thing I always tell people about opening day, it's kind of like what the alcoholics say about New Year's Eve. It's kind of amateur night. The folks that show up at opening day either really love the Reds or just want to have fun and just party. And that was about half and half what we were dealing with today. But no, the vibes on the field were great, weren't they?
They sure were. I had people texting me, even non-Reds fans, being like, this Reds team looks like they're having a lot of fun. Like just random baseball fans saying that they're gonna enjoy watching this Reds team. And I certainly got that feeling. One of my best friends and member of the Patreon family, that's patreon.com/riverfrontcincy, where you too can join the family. He texted me to say that who's the first guy out of the dugout when Nick Martini hits that second bomb?
Joey Votto.
Oh, you. How dare you?
You had to do it. You had
How
to.
dare you?
Sorry.
We got to talk about our guy, Nick Martini.
We do.
33 years old. This is the first opening day roster he has made in his entire major league career.
Wow.
So whenever you hear us on this show wondering why there were not at bats for Joey Votto, it's because before 4:05 p.m. Eastern time today, in the starting lineup on the 2024 opening day Cincinnati Reds was a guy who's literally never been on an opening day roster in his entire career, and he's not much younger than me. And let me tell you, when I get out of bed in the morning, I could not play a professional sneaking sport. Okay. So my faith level, not super high. in a guy with an awesome name. Because if you have an awesome name, I assume that you're going to be good at things. And I couldn't even give Nick Martini the benefit of the doubt. Well, Nick Martini must have understood that that's how I felt, and he told me where to shove it. And exactly where I was to shove it was the right center field bleachers at Great American Ballpark. I don't know what to say. That's got to be up there with the greatest Reds opening day performances of all time. I remember Adam Dunn, I think, had a 2-home run.
He had two 2-run home runs opening days.
And he's the greatest baseball player of all time. So as much as I do and will continue to miss Joseph Daniel Votto, Nick Martini is wearing the right jersey. Welcome to the club. Welcome back to the club. Well done, middle-aged fella. That was awesome.
Okay, I have a question.
All right, let's listen to Bill's question, then I'll go on.
In September, will we even remember that Nick Martini was on this team?
You remember Jason Vossler, don't you?
I guess that's the question.
No.
Do you
only because somebody posted the opening day roster or lineup the other day.
I think we will, and here's why. Do you remember Joe Randa?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
good point.
Nick Martini has entered Reds opening day history. Lore, right? He's one of the guys that we may not remember him, but we may remember he hit 2 home runs on opening day, 5 runs batted in. First opening day, he's like 100 years old. First opening day roster.
He's older than me.
Yeah,
he's older than me.
Well,
slightly less handsome.
There we go. That's
true.
But so I think we will remember him maybe because of that. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe
He's
not.
got a dope name. Like we'll remember that.
Do you
it's
think
it's an incredible name.
How long do you think he'll be on this roster?
Well, he'll be on this roster until
they get healthy.
Until they get healthy. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be. He's probably not going to be here for a while. If he's on the roster the whole season, something's gone wrong. I mean, I think that's true. Yeah. On the other hand,
it doesn't matter. Good vibes. Good vibes. He had a great day today. Hats off to him.
Yeah, but he's a DH. Maybe he's a DH that can mash the ball. We saw it last year. He can mash the ball. Now, he's going to get exposed if he plays too much, but I don't know. Can he help the team? I mean, I'm not saying that he can, but he sure did today.
I think the way this lineup is constructed, he's only going to have to play against right-handed pitchers, of which he crushes. He did it all September last year, and they have a DH spot now. This guy does not have a spot on the roster if there is no DH in the National League, but there is. So,
and we slammed David Bell for lots of things and for good reason.
We will continue.
We will, but David Bell does a good job of putting batters in. Putting batters in position where they're set up to succeed. Only hit this guy against the pitchers he can hit. You know, I mean, he did that with Jake Fraley last year.
I've got something to say, but I'm going to keep it to myself because we're good vibes on.
Oh, good. I can't believe it's the first time ever.
Stick around for about 20 more minutes before Bill
it's good, and it's good for David Bell, but it's bad for the front office because. Anyway, moving on.
We'll get back to that next week. Bill.
Somebody tweeted out, and I have no idea if this is true. This is the first time the Reds have started 1-0 since 2007. That can't be true, can it?
They had not done well on opening day lately. I don't know the exact numbers, but
there's no way.
A lot of years. That can't be.
Yeah, that's 13. That's almost no.
2019. That sounds way more reasonable. Who else do we want to shout out from this appearance? I mean, I want to throw out some love to. Let's just go down the lineup real quick. Jonathan India, 1 for 4 with the walk. He looks pretty natural.
Raley with a big throw in the first inning.
Yeah, that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
He made Jesse look bad trying to take second base on that.
Old friend Jesse Winker. You know, that's how I want it. That's what all former Reds to do is get a hit and then immediately get thrown out. Got to support those guys. But Jonathan India looked good in the leadoff spot. Made a few really nice plays at second base.
Well, I'm not going to get too excited about his defensive prowess.
Feelings, no facts.
Well, there was a ball that looked like a double play. It should have been a double play, and the guy beat it to first base. It looked to me like it should have been a double play, but I don't.
Yeah, but as a leadoff hitter, he was patient. I thought he was.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I thought he's not the guy I would have started, but at leadoff. But I was pleased.
He drew a walk, and he hit 2 balls over 100 miles an hour. That was a good day at the plate for Jonathan India.
Chad,
Bill just asked the question. Yeah, who would I? And I'm looking down this lineup, and I'm not sure that there's anyone in this lineup. I mean, I would have considered Ellie just because I want to get him as many at bats as we can get him. But other than that, I'm not sure there's anyone that I would have started over India at leadoff. It's not a terrible decision.
Ellie had a good day. He had the strikeout was from the right hand side, and it looked like last year. He made a bad swing on the third strike, but I worry about fan reaction and announcer prejudice poisoning the well on Ellie De La Cruz. I really do worry about this.
I don't know what you mean.
That there will be so much stress about the things that he does. He's going to strike out a lot. I think he's always going to strike out a lot. I've become convinced of that. And I hope I'm wrong. I mean, he's but nobody is. If you talk to the normal guy that you meet, he strikes out all the time. Well, he strikes out a lot, but he's 22 years old. He's going to get better. He can hit the ball a mile. He hits the ball hard. He throws the ball hard. If he gets a walk, it's a double. I mean, I really worry about the media attention focusing on the things that he struggles at over the things that he's good at, which we talked about for Adam Dunn for years.
Well, Bill, I'm not too worried about that, mostly because this guy is swagged out of his mind. He just signed on with the Jordan brand yesterday. MLB is about to start pumping him into the public consciousness like they very rarely have done.
You think that's a positive? You think that's a positive, and I think it could be a negative.
Oh, I think it's a positive.
There's certainly a world where it could be a negative, but with everything I've seen,
I hope you're right.
Demeanor, the way he carries himself, I'm not worried about that a bit.
And he seems like a wonderful guy. He seems like a positive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you're right. I absolutely hope you're right, and I hope I'm wrong.
That interview that he took in English yesterday, incredible. Incredible.
Can I talk about that for a moment?
Please.
Because I've been thinking about it ever since. Because this is how my brain works. But, I remember when Joey Votto. Well, first of all, Seth, are you driving safely?
I am. I'm not looking at you at all.
Nobody looks at him.
All right. You put that on a T, Seth.
I got a Jeep behind me flashing me lights. I'm going over the speed limit. I don't know what he wants me to do.
Oh, you be safe, okay?
Where are you, Seth? Where are you right now?
I-71 right by Kenwood Country Club. I love that view up the hill.
Oh, I know that.
So, when Joey Votto was a young player, he felt like he needed to be able to connect with all his teammates to be a leader. He learned Spanish in the offseason, took lessons, learned Spanish.
Like Larkin did.
That's the second thing I was going to say. Yeah, Barry Larkin, same thing. He needed to connect to his Spanish-speaking teammates. He learned Spanish. Now, and I just mentioned Joey Votto and Barry Larkin, two of the greatest players in Cincinnati Reds history. Now, this is not exactly a reason to say that Ellie De La Cruz is going to be one of the greatest players in Reds history. But do you know what it takes, number one, to spend the offseason learning a new language, but not just learning a new language, but learning enough to be confident enough to give a press conference speaking that? I'm absolutely astounded and just really impressed by the fact that, not just the fact that he did it, because, learning a language, if you really want to do it, you can learn a language, I guess, but the fact that he considered it important enough to do that. And he talked about talking with his teammates. I don't know. There's not a single thing that I've ever seen about this guy that makes me, he strikes out too much and he didn't finish the season great last year. And I get all that. We don't know how his development is going to go. But there is not a single thing about this kid that has done anything other than make me excited to have him wearing a Reds uniform. I mean, I don't know. I'm probably putting too much stock into it, but I was so impressed that he wanted to do that.
Well, the other thing, Chad,
he didn't have to.
At the same time, he was revamping and working on the things that he struggled with at the end of last year on his stuff on the field. He was doing that at the same time. And I hope it doesn't sound like I was down on this kid, because when I said what I said earlier, because I'm not. I love this guy. He has a vibe that I don't remember in all the years that I've watched Reds baseball, which goes back a couple of days. I don't remember anybody that brings the excitement to the fan level that he does. And I'm just worried about the media poisoning the well. And I hope I'm wrong, but I've seen it happen here before, and it scares me. It really does.
Well, and to that point, we have seen it. We see it all the time. Every good Reds player gets picked apart for the things they can't do. Joey Votto, Adam Dunn, rather than things they can do.
Or if they make too much money.
But I think to Nate's point, maybe if he's a national superstar,
maybe
that changes the.
I hope so.
And there's one thing that every professional athlete wants, and that's to become undeniable. And I think that there is a chance that happens with Ellie. I mean, did you see what he wore to the game today?
I did. I didn't see that yet.
Goodness, this guy has more confidence.
Was it like a Joe Burrow outfit?
As cool, if not cooler. I'm talking red button up, unbuttoned, no undershirt, just abs dripping. Ellie we've never seen him. Major League Baseball might have never seen him, and if they have, very, very few times. And I think we're in for something special. Get into it. He was 1 for 3 today, 2 runs scored, 1 walk. My favorite Ellie moment of the day was I had a buddy text me and say, I have a 7-leg parlay going in this game, and all I need is for Ellie to get a hit and a stolen base going into that into the 8th inning. What happened? Boom.
How much did he win? How much did he win?
It was $10 to win 200. So pretty good day for old Clay Christian.
I would never have the guts to do a 7-leg parlay. I would never have that much confidence.
I am not worried about Ellie. I am so excited. I think he's going to have a huge, huge, huge year. Okay. Jim Stackhouse has a good question. Did you expect Martini to hit 2 homers and have 5 RBIs in 1 game? I didn't expect him to do that in 2 games. Maybe
I didn't expect him to do that in his career with the Reds.
I expected him to do it every game.
Okay, I have a question.
We don't demand much from our players.
I have a question to the panel here. Can we talk about the Ohtani gambling thing, or do we want to put that off?
We're going to put that off.
Yeah.
Well, Nate's riding this train, driving this train. But
yeah, we'll stick with the Reds for now. We can. I'm not going to pour myself a whiskey.
There is a Reds component to this story. Let's not act like there isn't.
All right, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's talk about
next week.
Reds.
Next week.
Next week is fine.
Let's talk about Brent Suter.
Can we?
I don't like when he got signed. It didn't do much for me. I looked into the stats. I'm like, okay, this guy has been pretty good his whole career, so that raises the floor a little bit. He's fun. He was fun to watch. He throws a bunch of pitches. He mixes it up. He's the opposite of this power pitcher era that we seem to be, just shoved down our throat by Major League Baseball right now. But from day one, this guy got to Cincinnati, and I don't remember a player ever leaning into it harder.
Montas scene has.
Not in the way Suter did. He's like, I'm from here. This is my home. I think he.
Well, he's not from here. He's from the east side of town. That's a whole different thing. You have to be from.
Oh my gosh!
All right, you're on probation. I think Todd Frazier maybe helped him buy the house that he lives in because they were friends from the league. Every time he's in front of a camera, he's the exuberance flowing out of this guy, not just for being a Major League Baseball player, but for being a Cincinnati Red, is everything you could ever ask for as a fan. And then he comes out on opening day gets a chance to go 2 innings pitched, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, including striking out the side.
He was the man.
You simply cannot draw up a better script for a guy who cares that much.
I mean,
and then his reaction afterwards was just it was incredible.
When he went into free agency, he said he wanted to pitch for the Reds, and I maybe misremember, but I thought there was a second guy. There were 2 guys that went into free agency, and I can't remember who the other one was, and I feel terrible. That they both said said he wanted to pitch for the Reds because of what he'd heard about the organization and youth and whatever. You wonder if the culture is changing. And this makes me think of the Bengals. For so long nobody wanted to play in Cincinnati. Well, now are guys going to want to play in Cincinnati because the culture is changing, and we got these young guys, and they look like they're going to be really good, and it's fun, and the crowd and the attendance, and over 2 million last year for the first time in a long time. This could be a thing, man.
Well, no, I like the optimism Bill's showing. I can't believe I just said those words in that order.
Nobody has ever said that.
But I don't know. When Suter signed, I thought that's a perfectly cromulent signing. He'll be fine. I mean, he's a decent reliever. I have no problem having him. But I do love the fact I can, yes, but not right now. But he wants to be here. He's a local kid, and the Reds always try to sign the local kids, but he wants to be here. It's his team, and there's just something about that to me. But then to show up on opening day, and again, we're talking about opening day in Cincinnati. It's not just opening day. Brent Suter knows what opening day in Cincinnati means. And so to show up on opening day and then strike out the side in your first inning, I mean, are you kidding me? What a debut, man. I'm so happy for him.
And pitched 2 innings. I mean, you knew if Bell could get him into the game today, he was going to get him into the game today. And be out there and just be a stud. I mean.
Yeah, part of me thought that David Bell might get Alexis Diaz in there just because he had a bit of a less than stellar spring and get him in there with a low pressure situation, have good reps. Nah, play the hot hand. And I think that unlike last year when David Bell had to throw his better relievers anytime the game got hairy at all, the options this season are so much more palatable than we had to deal with last year. And how many wins could that be good for? When Alexis Diaz doesn't have to go out there every time a 5-run game becomes a 3-run game.
Or pitch on 3 days in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. So shouts to Brent Suter. We probably ought to talk about the other reliever that appeared.
Yeah, let's dive into that.
Chad had something. Chad wanted to talk.
Well,
go ahead, Chad.
Nate.
I was just gonna say Emilio Pagan, the other big free agent splash other than Nick Martinez and Damar Candelario, who we can talk about in a minute also, even though we're trying to do good vibes only. 1 inning pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, a K. With a bomb allowed, I will say 2 things. One, the pitch that he gave up the home run on was a very difficult pitch to hit. I happened to be watching this game beside a hardcore Atlanta Braves fan who literally said 2 pitches prior, if he puts one up and into Eddie Rosario, he's going to take a yard. So I don't know whether to go, oh, Rosario hit a great pitch, or scouting report should have been better. You missed your spot. I don't know. Emilio Pagan has a reputation as a home run giver upper. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried.
Which isn't good for Great American Ballpark.
No.
Well,
Chad, what are your thoughts?
That's where I wanted to go. With Pagan, the Reds gave him some money this offseason. He was an early signing. And the whole time since that signing, I've been thinking, I hope the front office knows more than I do. And I assume they do. I generally assume they know more than I do. But
no, you don't.
No, I generally do. They have more information than I do. Don't put that on a billboard. But with Pagan, the thing that stuck out to me immediately is that he's had some success. Last year, his success looked a little superficial to me, but he has a long history of giving up home runs. He didn't give up home runs like last year at the rate he did before, but that's the first thing I saw.
It was kind of the only year that he hasn't.
Right. He's traditionally given up a lot of home runs, and so I'm not passing judgment on Pagan yet. But to see him on opening day, give up a home run when that's literally what I was worried about. If he can be what he was last year, it changes the dynamic of this bullpen, kind of like Nate was saying. And so, I don't know. I was a little disappointed to see that in his very first appearance, he gave up a long ball. That's all I wanted to say.
The solution is simple. Only pitch him on the road.
Okay, there you go.
The only thing how much better do you think the Reds bullpen is right now than it was last year on opening day? Markedly?
I would need to pull up last year's opening day lineup to confirm, but I feel pretty confident saying that it's significantly.
I mean,
yeah, no, it's better. It's better. Even Pagan, but
he's better than. Derek Law plays for the Nationals now.
Yeah, TJ Antone. We have, and who knows what to expect from him, but I'm okay with this bullpen.
Seth's back.
Seth is back.
Yeah, we made a pit stop.
He survived.
We made a pit stop here. We got to hit Gold Star because we have Skyline in Columbus, so we're here at Gold Star.
Understandable. Yeah, I think this bullpen can be an advantage for this team. I think that there aren't many bad pitchers, if any, bad pitchers in this Reds bullpen. And it seems like every other team in the Central has, the Pirates have they got a couple studs. Chapman, I don't consider him a stud anymore, but they have top of the spectrum arms and then a bunch of garbage. I think the Reds have a bunch of guys that are average or better.
Didn't you want the Reds to sign Chapman?
I still do. Well, before that video, I don't anymore. I'm out now.
He's not a stud, but you still want the Reds. You wanted the Reds to sign him. Okay.
If he is one of your worst couple relievers, you're doing really, really well. He's the Pirates' second best reliever. If he's your second best reliever, it's not the same situation. And also, due to recent events, in light of recent events, I would like to stay as far away from Aroldis Chapman as possible. And I would recommend his mom do the same.
I don't know what that means.
Don't Google it.
No, go Google it. Go Google Aroldis Chapman mother. Google it. I want you to do it right now while we're on the. Let me while Bill's Googling. Jim Stackhouse, good question. Steer taking a hit by pitch in the head. Yeesh,
heart stop.
Scary.
Heart stop for a minute.
Yeah.
Thank God for that little flat.
Let me give you a list of names, if I can, right now.
Please.
Okay. Ricky Karcher. Alec Mills. Have any of you ever heard of Alec Mills?
No.
He pitched in relief for the Reds.
I was about to say, though, please do not disperse the reputation and name of young Ricky Karcher.
Well, I agree. Randy Wynn. Michael Marriott.
Randy Wynn sounds like a NASCAR driver.
Jason Shreve. Joe Kunal. Luke Maley, relief pitcher. Alan Busenitz. Silvino Bracco. Connor Overton, Casey Legumina, Carson Spears, Reaver San Martin, Kevin Herget.
Okay, I'm grossed out.
Yeah, the Reds had a lot of horrible relievers last year. You know what? I'm feeling pretty good about what we have now.
Bill just watched the video in real time.
Actually, I didn't.
Did he watch it?
I read the story in the New York Post.
It's worse than words can convey. We are officially off the Tim Daniel-led campaign to get Aroldis Chapman back to Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
And Tim is watching because he texted or he commented in before. So, Tim, your credibility is struggling.
Definitely.
Joey Gaditza, absolutely. Tyler Stevenson getting a big hit early in the game to help get things started. Love to see that.
It looked decent defensively, even though it was easy today. He had a pitcher that was in control today. He didn't have. I struggle
with a lot to do
with Ty Steve and his defense, and especially on balls that are down. And he didn't really struggle today because everybody threw the ball well.
So very encouraging day from Jake Fraley. 2 hits, was halfway to the cycle before his third at bat. Fantastic heads-up play in the outfield, gunning down Jesse
dart.
Winker, second base. If you can get a healthy Jake Fraley all season long.
Do you think he can hit right-handers, though? I mean, like left-handers? Would you let him play against left-handers?
I wouldn't give him the first option. He would not be my first choice. I would rather Will Benson get that, that practice first, I guess. I'm not super confident that Will Benson can, but I'm very excited to find out. I think Jake Fraley, we know.
Do we agree that not finding a right-handed offensive or outfield bat is the biggest failing of the front office this offseason?
Good vibes only.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
No, it's not.
But yes.
Not picking up the option.
In person, he looked faster than I remember Fraley did, faster than I remember him all last year. I don't know.
He had some foot problems last year.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean.
And he still stole 20 bases. Yeah, like he's an athletic guy. I think that we have a
he shed a tear during the Star Spangled Banner, too. I don't know if you saw
that. With everything he went through this offseason with his daughter and thank goodness for all the good news we've gotten on that front.
Absolutely
lately.
Right.
We don't need to talk about it here, but sending all the good vibes go straight to the Fraley family. So Absolutely. It's 100% rooting for that guy and that team, that family. So hard. And he made an impact today on day one. And, you think about the Viking helmet. He was the inspiration.
Wow.
We're from the Appalachian part of America, Jim Stackhouse. So
yeah, both.
For those listening to the audio feed only, Jim Stackhouse wonders if the Dotsons are cousins or brothers. And as Appalachians, I must just say, yes.
Only one of them starred in Deliverance.
We're brothers. I'm the older, Chad's the younger. He's had a hard
life. Yeah, with an older brother like you, yeah, that would be a hard life.
And which one plays the banjo?
Because we are a fair and honest podcast, we'll throw out real quick. Don't need to go into it because it's game one. We're not reading too much into anything except for the good things, which we will exaggerate completely. Rough days from Christian Encarnacion Strand and especially Jeimer Candelario, who went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Did put the ball in the play his last at bat, so progress. Love to see that. I'm not going to lie to you. I was surprised to see CES in the 3-hole. I will not be surprised if he ends up there long term. I think that he has that kind of potential in his bat. But as a young fella, surprised he got that nod on opening day. He looked a little – Seth, maybe you can speak to this a little more since you were there. He looked a little just kind of nervous that first at bat or two, and then he settled in his last couple of bats. He didn't get on base, but was taking good swings and showing some plate discipline that wasn't there earlier. So I'm not worried at all about either of those guys. But we've been talking about everybody else, so we might as well touch on them. Seth, what'd you see?
I thought CES and Steer might have switched spots in the order. That kind of
would have made more sense to me
for today, anyway. As far as getting CES his sea legs, and Candelario just felt like an opening game with a new team. That's what it looked like. My son brought up Will Benson's tough start to last year. Of course, Candelario is a much more veteran player, but that idea that you're getting a shot with a new team. But something the guy said, Scott Williamson said a few weeks ago on Red Leg Roundtable about Greg Vaughn. He said if you went 0 for 4 and you won, he was happy. If you went 3 for 4 and you lost, he was still mad. And I kind of had those vibes from Candelario, like, hey, we still won,
That seems to just be, and gosh, we can't read. We're going to do this. This is why we're doing a live podcast today. We're going to read too much into everything. But I cannot get past how much fun this team looks like they're having. It's just the first day, but the Reds put out that little social media clip, that little 2-minute video where they interviewed a bunch of the guys and they talk about expectations for the season. I'd run through a wall. It was a bit deflating. The injury things happened, and it took a little bit of wind out of the sails. But after an 8-2 opening day win, a dominant win, I could not be more pumped. Jim Stackhouse says, do you like Ellie in the 6th spot? I was also surprised that he was so low. I thought we'd see him a little higher, but I am not mad about it.
I agree. I agree with Seth. I could take Spencer Steer and put him in a 3 spot for the rest of the year. I just make them bold and just put him in a 3 spot every game that he's playing. And I would not have a problem with that all year.
The only thing I'll say to that is I would expect that you'll probably see Spencer Steer in the 2, 3, or 4 spot, if not 2, 3, 4, or 5, against every single left-handed pitcher. His splits are not severe, but he does absolutely mash lefties and is just, pretty good against righties. So David Bell could be playing into that until he gets a little bit more of a sample size. I'm not going to complain about anywhere Spencer Steer is in the lineup unless he's 8 or 9 and just missing out on at bats.
Unless we get a Dusty Sunday lineup.
That guy can fit. Gosh, do not miss those. But, gentlemen, sold out, 44,030 people at Great American Ballpark. It seems like I was looking at all the videos and pictures from the banks. It looked insane. The vibes were immaculate. We're approaching an hour here. Let's go around the room real quick and any sort of just parting vibe checks from the gang. Bill, you want to start us off?
Can't wait to. I hate the day after opening day. I hate it. You're ready. It's great. Even if you lose, you're like, God, we want to get back up there tomorrow. We'll win tomorrow. And if you win, you want to win the second one. So now we got to wait till Saturday afternoon. And I can't remember. Now, this may be my memory, and I did not look this up. I can't remember the last time opening day was on a Thursday. Seems like it's always on like Tuesday. And it used to always be the Tuesday after the NCAA championship. So the fact that, it's today and then they got a Friday off and then they play Saturday late and then Sunday day and then they go on the road. Excuse me. I can't wait till Saturday. I will be really struggling for the next 48 hours till we get Reds baseball again.
Yeah, speaking of Saturday, we got Hunter Green versus Patrick Corbin. That is a favorable matchup for the Cincinnati Redlegs. Statistically, I think Patrick Corbin has been the worst pitcher in Major League Baseball for the last 2 seasons, and he makes a boatload of money, so you should not feel sorry for Mr. Corbin. But he is a lefty, so we'll see how this new look Reds lineup fares against a left-handed pitcher, which has sort of been an Achilles heel in the past. Granted, they've had a lot
we're worried about
ills in the past. But we're pumped for the Reds to go out and have a chance to take win the first 2 games of a series and get that series win.
162-0, baby.
That's right. Seth, vibes check.
Hey, man, just standing there and sitting there with my son and my grandfather. I told my son, I said, I forgot. And then I was thinking about what Bill's saying. I hate tomorrow too, but, we've got 162 games, 161 left. And I had forgotten what it feels like to have baseball in our lives. It just feels like this winter was a long, dark winter. And, man, it felt so good, especially to get that win. And as my grandfather always says, that trip home's a lot better when you win. So.
That's right, especially driving to Columbus. How was it today getting to experience opening day in Cincinnati with your son, with your grandfather? That's got to be a pretty cool memory for you and your family.
It is, and Grandpa's 88 now, so it's getting harder and harder for him, So I got a parking pass closer to the stadium, that kind of thing, to make sure he could get there. But I'm really, it touches your heart a little bit more and more every year. So it's I told my son, I go, no matter how far you go to college, you're coming home for this game. So we'll see.
I love it. Super, super, super jealous. It was really fun getting to relive some of the memories of my favorite Reds teams listening to your string of podcasts recently. Most recently, Pokey Reese, co-grand marshal of the opening day parade. Fantastic. So anybody listening to this that hasn't already, please go check out Red Leg Roundtable. It's on our YouTube channel. It's on our podcast feed. It's Seth sitting down with former Reds players, and every one of those has made me extremely jealous and annoyed and wondering why they even let me on this podcast. Like, why do I even get to talk when there are people so much better at it than I am?
We wonder that too.
Well,
all right, Bill's fired. Got to
go.
Go.
Put me out of here. Put me out of here so I can eat a cheese coney. We'll see you guys later.
Hey, cheers, buddy.
Take care, Seth.
All right, Chad, vibes check. heading on to you. What are you thinking?
Well, there are three things really. Number one, circling back to what you said, I don't know how to quantify this. I never know how to quantify it, so I don't. I don't really use it as a way to evaluate a team. But this team absolutely, and last year's team, absolutely seemed like they're having fun. And I don't know why it should be, but the fact of the matter is, when the team seems like they're having fun, I enjoy it more. I should not. I'm an old dude who, whatever, it's baseball, but I like seeing these guys have fun. And that's why I like the bat flips. And that's why I like the stupid Viking nonsense. And it's all great. I mean, I love it. I love that they're having fun. So anyway, I wanted to say that in as a comment to what Nate was talking about earlier. Two other things that I really feel like I need to mention before we get out of here. Number one, it's our first opening day without Joey Votto. And I'm not gonna relitigate that. I'm not gonna talk about the decisions, but I will say this: I miss having Joey Votto on this team already. He's a legend. He's a great personality. I hope he has a really successful season in Toronto, and I have a weekend planned that I'm gonna go to Toronto to watch him if he actually gets to play for the Blue Jays. Going to go do that. So I just feel like this is the first opening day in 47 years without Joey Votto on the roster, and we needed to mention it. I felt like the last thing is this. You're right. I was thinking earlier today about Nate and I's grandmother, and she passed away a couple years ago, and I remember being a freshman in high school. And my grandmother, the legendary Dorothy Dotson, Dotson, calling the school and telling them I had a dentist appointment so I could leave and go watch opening day. And she crossed my mind today, and I wanted to shout her out because she loved the Reds, Big Red Machine, loved the Big Red Machine. She was 92 when she passed, and just I don't know. I was thinking about her today, and I wanted to mention her. So anyway, opening day special. This was an incredible opening day. It just when it goes well for the Reds on opening day, it sort of fills your heart a little bit and gets you excited for the rest of the year. And so I'm as excited about the Reds. I've had as much fun with the Reds today as I've had in a long time, and so. Yeah, good vibes only, but man, there's reasons for good vibes. This team's all right, and so I'm excited for the year. That's all I wanted to say, Nate.
I can't say much better myself. I mean, we can do good vibes only on here, especially when it's good vibes only out there on the field. So the gentlemen, I think we're gonna have a good time watching this team, no matter what. Chad said is all the time. If you can't be good, be interesting. This team has a real chance to be both, and that is. We rarely get to say that either of those things about Reds teams. And I think this year is going to be something special. Maybe I'm riding the opening day highs, maybe not. But as much as we hate that day off tomorrow, it just lets me ride these highs for one day longer. So, guys, thank y'all for coming on. Appreciate y'all joining me and talking out some opening day scuttlebutt. If you are watching this, we appreciate you for tuning in. If you are listening to this or watching it tomorrow, thank you so much. We could not do this without the support of all of y'all. Likes and follows, all the places, they help a lot. But the biggest shouts go to our Patreon family. It's at patreon.com/riverfrontcincy. If you would like to join in on the hijinks, we'd love to have you. So for who? Who are we signing off with? This is a live show.
Oh,
we have no notes.
We forgot to name an obscure former Red. Joe Randa. There you go.
Got to be Joe Randa.
To Eli Cash, Wayne Kinchicki, Adam Dunn. For Joe Randa, for Joey Votto, for Chad Dotson and Bill Lack, I'm Nate Dotson. So long, Cincinnati.